everybody, I'm here with a brief chatty update about where I've been. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I had been planning to do at least one video a week, maybe two, for 2023. And then, they say if you want to make God laugh, make plans. And so, yes, I made all these plans, and we'll just say that things changed and they did not work out. So, we have a couple of family members that are in care and have been for a while. And so their health isn't, like the greatest. However, we did have one of our family members take a turn for the worse a few weeks ago, and it really looked like they were going to pass at this point. They have rebounded and they are recovering, which is wonderful news. But for a while there, it was really touch and go, and they're still not at optimal health. I don't want to go into too much, but basically it was, very sort of stressful, very emotional time. And it still is to a certain extent, because we know with having, elderly family members in care that, at some point, they are going to go. That just is life. But, without, again, getting into too much detail, but basically it was kind of a stressful time and very emotional and difficult. And, we're still, crossing our fingers and praying and hoping that everything turns out, okay, or at least as good as it can be for now. So that's where I'm at. That's where my energy's kind of been, obviously been, pretty distracted by all of that stuff going on. I have been still doing stuff on my Patreon and my Etsy, and so the energy that I do have and the time that I do have has been going a lot towards that. So I have been posting regularly on my Patreon and doing some Etsy readings, but it hasn't left me with a lot of time for things like YouTube or making, little TikToks or Instagram. And so I'm trying to do these things while I can, while I'm able to do them. But ignore my phone ringing in the background. But it's just been kind of stressful. Like, to be honest, it's not just, it's dealing with having to, go back and forth and all the physical, actual things that you're doing. But it's also obviously very emotional, and, it has not a lot of extra energy to give to extra things at this point. So that's why I haven't really seen YouTube videos from me for a while. But I thought I would at least go today, do a chatty update. The other part too is that, and I've sort of talked about this before, my old job was 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, which left me with a 3-day weekend where I could do a lot of this side work. But now I have a job that's 5 days a week, and so that only leaves me with, a couple days on the weekend. And with everything else that's going on, plus life, like, doing stuff around the house and, even just needing time to rest, it doesn't leave a lot of time. And so if anything else happens, sort of a lot of the extra things fly out the window. So I've been really trying to figure out how to manage all of these things that are going on and balance them out and get the things done that I want to do, because it's not that I don't want to do YouTube. It's not one of those things where I'm feeling, burnt out, or I'm feeling, that I don't have any topics to talk about or anything like that. It's just that I just don't have a lot of time or energy going on right now. And so I'm trying to do what I can while I have the time and energy for them. So I apologize for things being, kind of sporadic over here, because I like to be consistent about things. And lately, obviously, it haven't been. Although I think recently it's pretty understandable, because priorities obviously have been elsewhere, and that's okay. That happens in our lives, right? Things like that happen. But I do have things to talk about. I do have topics that I want to discuss and things I want to show you. So some of the things that I am planning, hopefully, to make videos on are, I did pick up a new deck. I actually haven't seen anyone unbox this, and it is the Lenormand of Enchantment. This is by Yasmin Westwood, written by Calliope, and it is a red feather deck. I haven't seen anyone unbox this. And so I am going to do a walkthrough. I've already opened it up, but this one has a really interesting guidebook, which I think if you're looking at learning Lenormand, you might want to take a look at. So I'm going to do a walkthrough and explain more about that, hopefully in a future video that I want to do soon. So that is one of the things that I've wanted to talk about. And then I also have books that I want to talk about as well. So I finished reading The Witch's Guide to the Paranormal by J. Allen Cross. How to Investigate, Communicate, and Clear Spirits. So this is someone who practices witchcraft, and they also are part of a paranormal investigation team. So this was a very interesting read, and I'm going to do a full review of this book. Spoiler alert, I loved it. I thought it was really, really great. So I'm going to be talking about that one. And then I started reading, go through the stack of books here. I started reading Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. This is Hexes, Curses, and Other Unsavory Notions. So this one, I'm hoping I'll get through it quickly. It's not like a super giant, huge book, but so far I am enjoying this one, and I'm hoping when I am done this book, I can also do a full review of that as well. So I also have like books on my to-read list. I mean, I always have books on my to-read list. So after I've done Utterly Wicked, let me know which one you would like me to do next. The first one I have here is a new book by Lisa Lister, best-selling author of Witch, and it is called Self-Sorcery. And it says, come to your senses, trust your instincts, and remember your magic. So she was the one that wrote the popular book Witch from a couple of years ago, and I read it, and it wasn't, my favorite book. I had certain criticisms of it, but I have heard some really good things of this particular book, and so I wanted to give it a chance. I wanted to, keep an open mind and read this book, so that is on my list. Plus, I like the little snaky snake on there. And then this one I've also been really looking forward to, and that is Mastering Magic by Matt Ayrn, A Course in Spellcasting for the Psychic Witch. So this is his follow-up book to Psychic Witch, which I loved. I just thought it was a wonderful book. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one and seeing if it is as good as a Psychic Witch. And so I'm very, very excited about that one. And then the next book on my list is The Everyday Witch's Coven by Deborah Blake. This is the same person that did the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Everyday Witch Oracle. The Everyday Witch Tarot is one of my favorite tarot decks. I love it. It says Rituals and Magic for Two or More. And I'm excited to read this. The front cover gives me very Silver Ravenwolf 90s kind of vibes, which I love. So I'm excited to read this one as well. So let me know out of these next 3 books, which one you want me to read next after I read Utterly Wicked. Let me know which one you would like me to read and do a review of. So, I have found like little bits of time, especially like on my lunch break and stuff like that at work, to do some reading. So I have gotten like some little bits of reading in, which is really great. So, I'm trying to like grab these little bits of time to do stuff. And this is one of those little bits of time. I have come home from work, just finished with dinner and stuff. I have a few minutes, and so I thought I would jump on. I usually do my recordings on Saturday, but that's when I usually end up like doing my Patreon stuff and doing my Etsy stuff. And so I'm feeling like I might have to try to like put some stuff during the weekdays, like little bits of time just to figure it out. I know I'm not the only one struggling with this kind of stuff, like trying to make it all work and do all the things doesn't always work, now does it, right? So we have to sometimes prioritize or grab what little time we can. Another thing that has come up for me is that I have started playing in a band again. I put that on hold with COVID. I mean, COVID is still going on. It's not like it like magically went away or something. But I have started playing with people again, and I've made it really clear that if anyone has any symptoms of anything, like a stomach flu, anything, it doesn't even have to be COVID, it could be whatever, that they have to let me know, because I cannot take it to my family members who are sick, because it can make them very, very, very sick, whatever it is. And people have been very respectful of that, so that is good. And so we'll see how it goes. So I've been doing that. I have been practicing again, and I also, because I need more things on my plate, I have signed up for a art show coming up in I believe January of 2025, early 2025. Haven't got my dates confirmed yet, but it will be coming. And so I do these things because if I do not have a goal, I don't do things. I'm the kind of person where I need to have a goal. And if I've signed up for something, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to keep my word, and I'm going to do it. I had an art show in March of 2020, right before the lockdown. And so I was very lucky in that way because I had the opening the first weekend of March and people came. And then about a week and a half later, everything, as we know, changed and shut down. And so my paintings have been actually over here sitting in a corner, and I haven't really done very much since then. And so I kind of need to give myself a little kick in the bum to be like, hey, you need to do this. So yes, I'm trying to get back to doing creative things. And so having things like a gig coming up or like an art show means that I will do them. I will pick up my guitar and practice. I will pick up my paintbrush rather than watching, The Price is Right or something on TV. Not that that's bad because we all need a little bit of downtime as well. But I'm like figuring it all out right now. So I am so glad for all of your patience with me right now while I figure all this out. And of course, with what happened at the beginning of February with, again, don't want to go into giant details, but with family member, it just kind of like put everything on hold. We were just trying to, do one thing at a time, one day at a time. And sometimes stuff like that happens, and then that's all you can do when that stuff goes on, right? I mean, what else can you do, right? So I'm hoping that all of you are well. I'm hoping that all of you are doing great. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I'm working it out. I'm figuring it out. I know we all are. And yeah, that's kind of what's been going on, because I had a couple of people going, oh, I hope you're okay. I hope you're well. And I am. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. It's just been a weird time. What can I say? But I thank you all so much for all of your love and support, all your wonderful comments, just like, being here, really appreciate it. And, even on the other platforms like Instagram and all that stuff, I know some of you follow me over there. And I know I used to be like so consistent with those things. And now, I don't know, it's sort of been a little more inconsistent. So I feel like I have to figure out a new rhythm, and it may not look like the old rhythm. It may look a little bit different. I'm trying to think if anything else is new since last talked to you. I did do something a bit different with my hair. I don't know. It's probably not very drastic to anyone else, but to me it is. I was thinking about growing out my hair, or trying to, just because I have very fine, thin hair, like very English hair. And I want it to grow longer, and it seems to kind of get stuck at this length. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be bleaching it anymore. And, but now I'm looking at it. So I had some low lights put in just to kind of, so you don't get that, when you're growing out your hair and you get like that line, and it's just of where your roots are, and just doesn't look very good. So I had some low lights put in just to kind of smooth that process out, However, I'm just kind of, don't know, I might re-rainbow things. We will see how it goes. But I mean, that's besides the point. I mean, whatever, right? It's just hair. But it's just things like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's gone on since I last posted, which was way back in January. I think that's kind of it. I'm looking forward to spring coming. It is still winter here. It is the end of February as I am filming this, and I hear people in England talking about daffodils, and people in the southern United States talking about, the spring coming and all that. And I'm like, well, I've got at least a month more to go, but cross my fingers, we will get there. We will always do. So I'm looking forward to that. We have a lot of astrology changes coming up next month, and I'd really like to, I don't know if I should do a video or write a blog about it, but we have Saturn changing signs into Pisces. Saturn changes signs every 2.5 to 3 years, so it is a big thing. And the last time Saturn was in Pisces was between 1993 and 1996. So if you're old enough to remember those times, think about what you were doing in those years, and some of those themes are going to come up again. I always think those are the grunge, when grunge was popular, because I think in kind of music terms, I'm like, oh, that's the grunge era. So maybe we'll see a revival of those kind of things. And then we have even bigger than that, Pluto changing signs into Aquarius, and Pluto changes signs every 248. Well, it takes 248 years to go all around the zodiac, and it changes signs because there's an elliptical orbit. It can be anywhere from 14 to 20 some years. But to put it in perspective, Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and now he's going to be changing into Aquarius this month. And the last time he was in Aquarius was let me get this right, 1778, I think it is, to 1792 or 1798, but basically the 1780s, 1790s, and that is the era of like the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, and also like the new American government after the American Revolution. So it is like going to be, I think, very interesting. And Pluto's going to be in Aquarius. He goes briefly into Aquarius this year from March until June, goes back into Capricorn for a while, and then goes back into Aquarius at the beginning of 2024. And then he's going to be there for 20 years. He's going to be there into like early 2040s. So we are going into a new era. So lots of shifts and lots of changes coming up. So let me know if you'd rather see a video about that, if you'd rather see a blog. I know not everybody here is into the whole astrology thing, so let me know what your thoughts are. And anything else that you would like to see coming up on this channel. But thank you again so much for all of your love and support and comments and just sticking around. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And thanks to all my patrons as well. You guys are like keeping me afloat and keeping me safe. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As always, everyone, peace and love and rock.